How you doing, everybody? I want to talk to you a little bit today about Floyd Rose tremolos. They can be a great tool when set up properly and used properly. Um, One of the things about these tremolo systems is that they need to be set up for the gauge of strings and the tuning that you're using. So if you're doing drop tuning or you find that you're changing your tuning a lot and you want to use just one guitar, Floyd Rose is not the right choice for you because you're not going to get the tuning stability that they're known for, because you're constantly changing the tuning and the bridge is not sitting properly and it's not really balanced properly down here. So anyway, this one that I'm working on right now, I've already started to loosen the strings, and there's a couple different things about these. If you're just doing a standard string change and you're going to be just putting on a new set of strings and you're not changing anything on the guitar, my recommendation, especially if you're an amateur with using a Floyd Rose, would be to change one string at a time. Change it, like the low E for instance, tune it up to pitch, then go to the A. That way the tremolo is not going to get completely out of balance. In this instance, I'm doing a full setup and I want to clean the fingerboard up and everything a little bit. So um, I basically had to loosen all the strings and I'll be taking all of them off. You can see, if you look over here, that I've taken the locks off of the locking tuner, off the locking nut. So that way the strings are all loose. I'm able to work with it pretty easily. Down here, the tremolo itself, I'm trying to see if I can get that on my phone here. Yeah, the tremolo itself, all the string tension is loose, and I have a piece of plexiglass sitting behind the tremolo, keeping it sitting upright. That's one of the things that I do. A lot of people use different techniques, but I find that it's easier for me to keep the tremolo at a stable point by using something behind it like this, so that I can go ahead and tune the guitar up easier when it's time to restring it and tune it. If you don't do that, then you have to do a lot of tuning to get it sitting in place correctly. All right, so I'm back. I've done some cleaning and some adjustments here on the guitar. My purpose today isn't to show you how to set up a Floyd Rose tremolo, just kind of what things to look out for. So I'm not going to go over every detail, but clean the fingerboard, condition the fingerboard. I've removed the truss rod cover so that later on when I have to adjust that, it's easier to get to. Right now, I've got my string, and I've already cut the ball end off the string, so I just want to show you how it goes in. Basically, your string is going to sit right down here into the saddle where you pulled the old one out. Bear with me with the focus in the phone and everything, because I'm doing this by myself, so I've only got two hands. And then basically you just want to take the same screw that we used, basically a hex head screw that we used to loosen it, and you're just going to tighten that up. You don't want to over tighten it, you just want to tighten it to the point where it is snug on the string and get it to where it's not going to pull out. I get a lot of these in where they've been over tightened, and unfortunately what that does is here where it enters the saddle, it strips the actual saddle itself, not the screw, and then you end up having to replace this whole saddle component, because it's basically, there are no other removable parts except for the lock block inside there. But basically, as long as that screw is in the lock block there, and you've used, as long as the string is in the lock block and you've used the screw to vise down on it and make it tight, you're in good shape. And then up here, the procedure is about as simple as possible. You don't really need to tie the string on or anything because you're dealing with a locking nut. So I'm just going to run the string right through. Once again, I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. And get it set up in there. And then I can grab my peg winder and just start winding it up. Alright, I'm back now. I've got all 6 strings installed on the guitar. I've done a couple things. One of them is that I set all the fine tuners to the middle position, so they're not too far out, not too far in, they're all even. That gives you plenty of room when you finally tune the guitar and lock down the locking nut to move the individual strings sharp or flat or wherever they need to be to get the guitar tuned perfectly. The other thing I've done is taken a look at where the bridge is sitting. This is just about the perfect angle that you want to have the bridge at. You don't want to be too far forward or back. The bottom plate is pretty even with the body of the guitar, and it makes a parallel line with the strings themselves as they're coming off the guitar. That's ideal right there. It's going to give you the best tuning stability, make the tremolo work the best, and just make your life a lot easier. Besides that, I've just trimmed the string ends off up here at the headstock, and now I'm ready to do my fine-tuning adjustments with my setup and everything. Alright, so just to review really quick with the Floyd Rose, if you're not used to making the setup adjustments, I suggest changing one string at a time and tuning that string to pitch. It'll make your life a lot easier when you're doing string changes. When you loosen your locks at the locking nut, keep them in order. If you keep the same lock on the same pair of strings, it'll make your tuning stability better. You want to pull your fine tuners either out or turn them in to the point where they're just about in the middle. It gives you room to either go sharp or flat or whatever you need to do to fine tune it. And most importantly, you want to keep the bridge sitting level, basically, so the bottom plate is making a parallel line with the strings themselves. If you start to get in a position where it's moving up or back, you're going to lose tuning stability. You're also going to lose motion one direction or the other on the tremolo, and it's not going to work the way it should. As far as getting in more in depth than that, if you don't have the experience working with it, the best thing to do would be to take it to a professional, respected technician and have them make the adjustments for you. And once everything is set, stick with the same tuning and the same string gauge, and you'll be good to go. All right, hopefully this was helpful. See you guys later.